Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition and another season of Fort Lee Baseball. As today, the Fort Lee Bridgemen play host to their Big North American Division rival in the Ridgefield Park Scarlets in a rematch of a game that was held just a couple of days ago at Ridgefield Park, as the Scarlets were victorious 11-0 on Monday. Both teams squaring off again here today, but this time Fort Lee hosting here at the Sugarman Sports Complex. Well, everyone, I'm Dan Long, joined alongside by my producer, Dimitri Nanis. So glad that he could join us for this Fort Lee baseball broadcast, courtesy of the Fort Lee Athletic Department. Now let's meet the starting lineups for both teams in this second matchup of the season between these Big North American Division foes. Doing the catching and leading off for Ridgefield Park will be number 4, Nick Buda. Hitting second and playing a shortstop is number 5, Sammy Aguilar. Hitting third and playing at first base is number 11, Adam Conversano. Doing the pitching and hitting fourth is number 7, Mike Buda. Hitting fifth and playing in center field is number 27, Sean Guzman. Hitting sixth and playing at second base is number 8, Shea Lucino. Hitting seventh and playing in right field, number 24, Victor Rodriguez. Hitting eighth and playing in left field is number 21, Brandon Porterreal. Hitting ninth and doing the DH work is number 6, Hector Zarzuela, as well as in that spot we may see the third baseman, Derek Batterschmidt, number 1, as they will be going up against Franco Rosario. Here today is the starting pitcher for the Bridgemen of Fort Lee. Rosario has thrown 1 inning of work this season and allowed 1 hit, no runs, and 1 walk in that outing. He's a junior. Defense for Fort Lee, as they'll have in left field, Emmanuel Perez. In center field, Marcus Lee. In right field, Jake Lee. Around the infield, Diamond. At third base will be Brandon Brito. At shortstop will be Keizo Katayama. At second base will be Max Greenberg. And at first base will be Kyle Ratzker. And doing the catching here today is Luke Senatore. Fort Lee in their home white, and in the road black tops with the red numerals will be Ridgefield Park. This season, Ridgefield Park is 2-2 on the season. They're led by their head coach, Scott Papetti. Fort Lee 0-3 on the season. They're led by their head coach, Peter Kraujic. Both teams got off the regular season action in the Big North American Division in their contest a couple of days ago over at Ridgefield Park. Dwight Morrow, Ridgefield Park, each 1-0 to start the season in conference play and league play. Cliffside Park, Fort Lee both 0-1, and Dumont yet to play a league game so far this season. Final warm-up toss is getting thrown here by Franco Rosario as we are about to get underway. Again, leading off will be number 4, Nick Buda, the junior catcher who's hitting .417 on the season. 4 RBIs, has collected total of 5 hits, went 1 for 4 with 2 runs driven in, a run scored, and a stolen base against Fort Lee the other day. Beautiful day for baseball here in Fort Lee. Glad that you're here to join us. And the first pitch of the day is going to be taken for a strike. 0-1 the count against Nick Buda. Well, 1 swing and a miss, and quickly ahead of the count is Rosario 0-2. Fort Lee went 9-15-1 a season ago. Finished second in the American Division. That one's driven high into the cage behind home plate. That's going to be a foul ball. It remains 0-2. Last season, the Bridgemen averaged just over 6 runs per game with their offense, allowed 7 runs a game with their pitching. They went 5-9 here at home at the Sugarman Sports Complex. As that's taken high for a ball. 1-2. Last win for Fort Lee against Ridgefield Park have to go to May 22nd, 2021. They won on the road at Ridgefield Park 6-5. That's driven into the cage again. Remains 1-2 the count. Last season, Ridgefield Park swept both meetings against the Bridgmen, winning 4-1 at home and then 11-4 here in Fort Lee on April 20th. One and two the count as Rosario trying to put away the leadoff hitter. Buddha again, for the third time in this at-bat, fouls it off into the backstop. Last season, Ridgefield Park won the 2022 Big North American Division, going 6-2 in divisional play. These were the two top teams in the league a season ago. And that hits the outside corner, freezing Nick Buddha with a called third strike, and the leadoff man is retired to start off the top of the first inning, 1 away. First strikeout of the afternoon for Rosario. That will bring up the shortstop, number 5, Sammy Aguilar. Aguilar's a senior, hitting .273 on the season. Takes that one curveball in for a strike, 0-1. For Aguilar, 1 home run, 2 RBIs, 3 total hits on the year. Went 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored and a walk against the Bridgmen on Monday. Swing and miss, says Aguilar. Just a little too high in the zone, as Rosario's got his good stuff working early on here in the first for Fort Lee. Quickly ahead of the count, 0-2. And there's strike 3 called again. Hitting the outside corner, he has frozen his first 2 hitters that he's faced with backward Ks. Now there's 2 away with no one on base in the top of the first inning, bringing up the third place hitter in the Ridgefield Park lineup in Adam Conversano. Conversano is the first baseman as he fouls that back. Conversano, a senior, hitting .417 on the season. He's collected 5 hits already this season in 4 games. 4 RBIs on the year, 3 runs scored. Went 2 for 3 with a pair of RBIs and 2 runs scored against Fort Lee on Monday. Curveball is knocked down to the second baseman. Greenberg diving down, tries to make the play over to first, but dragged Ratzker off of the first base bag. And even if he stayed on the bag, I don't know if Fort Lee was able to get that over in time. That was good speed displayed by Conversano down the first base line. He'll dig out an infield single. That'll be the first hit of the afternoon for Ridgefield Park. Runner on first with 2 away here in a scoreless top of the first. That was a nice play made by the second baseman, Greenberg. Went with the backhand to knock it down, just didn't have the ability to get it over in time. That brings up the cleanup hitter, and it's a pop-up in foul territory down the third base line. That'll be taken in by Brito in foul territory for the foul out by Mike Buddha, who will now take some warm-up tosses as he'll be taking the mound to be the pitcher today for Ridgefield Park. So the Scarlets produced no runs on 1 hit, 1 left on, and no errors. We head to the bottom of the first inning, scoreless between Ridgefield Park and Fort Lee, as you're watching our debut coverage of the Fort Lee baseball season here on YouTube. Now let's meet the starting lineup here today for the Bridgmen. Leading off and pitching is Franco Rosario. Hitting second and doing the catching is Luke Senatori. Hitting third and playing shortstop is Keizo Katayama. Hitting fourth and playing first base is Kyle Ratzker. Hitting fifth, playing in right field, Jake Lee. Also may see Jack Dorkham for the DH position. Hitting sixth and playing in left field is number 2, Emmanuel Perez. Hitting seventh and playing at third base is Brandon Brito. Hitting eighth and playing second base is number 6, Max Greenberg. And hitting ninth and playing in center field is Marcus Lee, as they will be trying their luck against number 7, Mike Buddha. The senior pitcher, 2.80 ERA on the season. 5 innings pitched, allowed only 4 hits, 2 runs, 3 strikeouts, and 4 walks. No score as we head now to the bottom of the first inning. First time that we'll get to see Fort Lee at work here offensively. Bridgman began their season back-to-back games here at the Sugarman Sports Complex. Lost to Westwood 16-3 in their season opener on April 3rd. Also lost to Bergenfield 15-7 on April 6th. Traveled to Ridgefield Park for their first road game of the year. Last time out on Monday. Franco Rosario will be the first hitter for the Bridgmen. Rosario hitting from the right side. First ball swinging, socks that one deep to center field. Ranging back to make the play is Guzman. 1 pitch and 1 out for Rosario, who went 0 for 2 on Monday on the road at Ridgefield Park. So Rosario flies out to center field for the first out of the game for the Bridgmen. Luke Senatore will come up now. Hitting .222 on the season. And there's first pitch strike against Senatore. Went 0 for 3 in 3 plate appearances against Ridgefield Park. That game was finished in 5 innings with a mercy rule in effect. Another fly ball. This time will be handled to right center field, still by the center fielder Guzman. 2 flyouts to center field, and quickly there's 2 away with no one on base in the home bottom of the first. We'll bring up Keizo Katayama, the senior, who's hitting .500 so far to begin this season. Has collected 5 hits, including a double, went 1 for 3 against Ridgefield Park on Monday. Takes that offering a little too high from Buddha. 1-0 the count in favor of Katayama. Katayama's the one who took the loss as the starting pitcher for the Bridgmen on Monday against Ridgefield Park. Starting as the shortstop this afternoon for Fort Lee's efforts here at home, trying to pick up their first win at home this season. As that misses low, it's now 3-0 the count in favor of Katayama, trying to become the first base runner of the afternoon for Fort Lee. Rio taken outside, so Buddha loses Katayama on 4 straight outside the zone. Keizo Katayama is a 2-out base runner, draws the walk. And that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, the first baseman, Kyle Ratzker. Ratzker, .444 batting average on the season to begin this play this spring. 4 hits collected for the first baseman, as that skipped in the dirt, and now Buddha has missed on 5 straight pitches outside the zone. Ratzker went 1 for 2 against Ridgefield Park on Monday. That time fired inside for a strike, making this a 1-1 at bat. So both teams had the first 2 outs retired in order, then got 2-out base runners. Paying a little attention to Katayama down at first as he was starting to produce a big lead. Picture perfect afternoon for baseball. Again, 82 degrees at opening pitch. Feeling like a comfortable summer afternoon here in northern New Jersey. That pitch too high. Katayama is off and running. The throw down to second base in time. As Nick Buddha helping his brother out, doing the work from behind home plate. He throws out Katayama trying to steal on that high pitch down at second base, and that will retire the side. So no runs, no hits, and no errors. As we head now to the top of the second inning, no score between Ridgefield Park and Fort Lee here on YouTube. No score after the first inning of action, as we'll have the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for Ridgefield Park due up here to begin the top of the second inning. Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis. Glad you could join us here on our broadcast coverage of the 2023 Fort Lee baseball season. Sean Guzman, the center fielder, will lead things off in the top of the second, hitting from the left side. Guzman already slugging to a .400 batting average so far this season. Behind the count against Rosario, 0-1. He went 1 for 2 with a double, an RBI, a run scored, also drew a walk on Monday in the win. Tops that one. Down to the first base side. That's going to be deemed to be a foul ball after Ratzker was trying to make a play on it, but it was to the right side of the bag for him, to his left. So Guzman is behind in the count, 0-2. Guzman, when he's not a starting center fielder like he is today, has been an exceptional pitcher so far this season for Ridgefield Park. Takes high, 1-2. Guzman has pitched to a 1.75 ERA. 4 innings of work, has allowed only 1 run on 1 hit, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. Ground ball, this time knocked down by the first baseman, but not going to be over in time. It was bobbled a couple times by Ratzker. Then he tried to lob it underhand to his pitcher, who was coming over to try to cover the bag, but Rosario was thrown off. And that's going to be a leadoff hit for Guzman. Officially, you probably would charge an error to the first baseman there. So E3 would be my official call. But the leadoff runner is on to start the second inning for Ridgefield Park as Guzman gets on and has a chance here to get the offense going. Brings up Shea Lucino, the second baseman. Lucino's first plate appearance of the game. 182 hitter on the season for the junior. Went 2 for 3, though, with 2 runs scored and a triple in the win against Fort Lee on Monday. Swings and misses wildly over to the far side. Popped up into the cage. No, they're going to say that actually was popped up out of the glove of the catcher's mitts. That's going to allow then Guzman to head down to second base. Now runner down in scoring position. Nobody out here in the top of the second. That pitch misses high for Rosario. 2-1 the count. Lucino looking for what could be his first RBI of the season. Ricochets that one into the cage and also off of Senatore, the catcher, a bit. As the home plate umpire taking a gander at the baseball to see if that's still usable. Behind the play in the course of before that last pitch. Looked like Katayama was trying to keep that base runner as close as possible to second base. Now time is called before the pitch can be fired. A swing and a miss on the outside edge, and that already is the third strikeout of the game for Franco Rosario. One away to start off the top of the second inning. No score still here between Ridgefield Park and Fort Lee. As Lucino is retired, first strikeout swinging for a Ridgefield Park batter here today. 3 strikeouts, like I mentioned, so far in this game for the starter for Fort Lee. That is a hot shot right into the glove of the third baseman, Brito. As Guzman did not venture that far off of the second base bag, will not be in trouble of a double play, but that line drive out off the bat of Victor Rodriguez now sets up 2 outs in the inning. Now a pathway here for Rosario to possibly get out of the inning still unscored upon. Takes on number 21, Brandon Porterreal, the left fielder. Hitting .333 on the season as Porterreal takes that one high outside the zone. Runner down at second now with 2 outs here in the scoreless top of the second. That's taken in for a strike. 2-1 the count in favor of Porterreal. Guzman led off the inning, getting on base safely with the error. Swinging and missing through that one is Porterreal, and Rosario now 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. Guzman led off the inning with that error, charged against the first baseman for Fort Lee, and went down to second base as well. That pitch missed high. It's now run full at 3-2. First time through the order for these hitters for Ridgefield Park. Guzman is off and running with the pitch. That is low and outside for ball 4. And Ridgefield Park will now have runners at the corners with 2 outs here in the top of the second inning. Hector Zarzuela will hit here, the designated hitter, hitting 9th in this lineup. That was the first walk given up in this game by Rosario. Still, Ridgefield Park has not produced a base hit in this second inning. There's your first base hit, as the Scarlets will get on the board first after that base hit to left field. Will drive in Guzman with the first run of the game. RBI single by Zarzuela. And Ridgefield Park has taken a 1-0 lead, batting here still in the top of the second inning, and back to the top of their order we go. So Zarzuela drives in the run. That is his first RBI of the season. Zarzuela was 0 for 1 in one plate appearance on Monday in their win. Curveball missing high against Nick Buda. Buda, the leadoff hitter, the catcher, went down looking with a backwards K and First strikeout of the game for Rosario to lead off this game in the top of the first. Runners at first and second now with 2 outs. As that one missed off the edge of the plate. 2-0 the count against Buddha. He went 1 for 4 on Monday. Drove in a pair of runs. Has one runner in scoring position right now. 1-0 lead for Ridgefield Park. Missed the outside. Now 3-0 the count against Buddha. Sammy Aguilar, the shortstop, waits on deck if Buddha can continue this inning. Curveball gets over the plate or the strike to make it 3-1. That was an unearned run against Rosario. Again, Guzman got on with the error to lead off the inning. Foul ball now runs the count full at 3-2. Three and two. Runners at first and second, 2 away here in the top of the second, and missing low for ball 4. The bases are now loaded, full of Ridgefield Park Scarlets. For Sammy Aguilar will be stepping in to bat. Second walk surrendered in this inning by Rosario of Fort Lee. Ridgefield Park, 1 run on 1 hit so far in this inning, 2 walks, 1 error. Sammy Aguilar was a strikeout victim in his first plate appearance, went down looking. He's 0 for 1 this afternoon. Aguilar with 2 RBIs on the season. Again, overswings on that offering. A strike against him. Nowhere to put Aguilar. Bases loaded. Curveball on the outside, missed, 1-1. Rosario trying to limit the damage for the Bridgemen and keep this just a 1-run deficit for his team heading to the bottom of the second. Nice breaking pitch that time as Aguilar was flailing out in front, and now it's a 1-2 count in favor of Fort Lee's Rosario. The wind starting to pick up a little bit around the facility. Here's the 1-2. Bounce in the dirt. Good job of keeping it out in front was Senatore, and now the count is 2-2. Again, with this backstop, it's really got to get away from the catcher to allow that would-be run to score from third base. Bases loaded, 2-2. Missed upstairs to the outside. Now the count is run full, 3-2. And the merry-go-round will be in motion here. 3-2 count, 2 outs, bases loaded, top of the second inning. 1-0 lead already for Ridgefield Park. And that is low to the outside, ball 4. That's going to walk in another run. And Ridgefield Park has played it home too here in the top of the second inning. Third walk given up in the inning now for Rosario, who did not give up a walk in that first inning. Aguilar will be credited with the RBI, and that brings up Adam Conversano, the first baseman who's 1 for 1 in this game. Infield single his first at bat as he legged it out after a nice play was made at second base by Greenberg. Out into the backstop, Conversano behind the count now 0-1. Still bases loaded now, 0-1. Conversano comes away with nothing, now quickly 0-2 the count in favor of Rosario. He was ahead of Sammy Aguilar early in that bat as well, and then eventually lost him. That is chopped down to the third base side, and it's going to be picked up in foul territory, so it's going to be a simple foul ball, and another opportunity now for Conversano with 2 strikes against him in this at-bat. Rosario looking for what could be his fourth strikeout of the game through the first 2 innings. That one is flailed, and it's going to be up and over the head of the second baseman, Greenberg, into the outfield. That's going to score a couple. 2 more runs come home here for Ridgefield Park in the second inning. They stretch their lead now to 4-0. Runners at the corner still with 2 outs after a 2-run single by Adam Conversano. Conversano driving in his 5th and 6th RBIs of the season. He had a pair of RBIs against the Bridgmen in Monday's win. Now 2 more RBIs to his total here. And he started off today 2 for 2. Brings up Mike Buda. All of this run production benefiting Buda. Starting pitcher here today for Ridgefield Park. He ended the first inning after fouling out to the third baseman, Brito. Conversano's hit, the second hit of the inning for the Scarlets. As that misses to the outside, 1-1 the count. Three walks for Rosario, really his undoing in this inning. Grounded down to the third baseman. Brito got down low, but throws it away. That's going to score at least 1 more run. Making a wide turn around third base, but holding at third is Ridgefield Park. They now have runners at second and third as this inning continues on. That's going to be an error against the third baseman, Brito. Second error of the inning for the Bridgmen. And now Ridgefield Park has batted around in this inning. Back to Sean Guzman, who started it all off with an error, reaching on an error to begin the top of the second inning. Five runs home here for the visitors in the top of the second inning with that strike inside corner. 1-1. Guzman reached on the error, came around to score on the Zarzuela RBI. Two hits in the inning, 3 walks, 2 errors. Bridgmen not helping their own cause out here so far in this game. Inside corner, strike 3 looking. So that'll be the end of the second inning, but 5 runs put up on the board by Ridgefield Park. Couple errors proving so costly for Fort Lee. The Bridgmen are going to be back at it to start the bottom of the second, trying to cut into that deficit here on YouTube. Heading to the bottom of the second inning now as Fort Lee trails for the first time this afternoon, 5-0. Five spot put on the board to help out the cause of Mike Buddha. Buddha, who gave up no runs, no hits, and walked one batter in that first inning, was helped out by his brother Nick Buddha, who threw out Katayama trying to steal second to end the first inning. Now facing Kyle Ratzker again, who was at home plate when Katayama was thrown out. 1-1 the count against Ratzker, the first baseman. Missing outside. 2-1 the count. Again, Kyle Ratzker went 1 for 2 on Monday for Fort Lee. Buddha hits the inside corner for the strike to even the set bat at 2-2. As that's popped up to the right field side and ranging in to make the play, Rodriguez in right, just hugging the fair line, and that's going to be the first out of the inning as there's one away. 3 of the 4 outs procured in this game so far for Mike Buddha have been by fly ball variety. So he pitches to contact, and he's going to be trying to get these pop-ups, which he's gotten already, off of the bats of these Fort Lee hitters. As that first pitch is taken low. As standing in is number 19, Jack Dorkham. 2-0 count for the DH for Fort Lee's, hitting .333 on the season. Dorkham with 3 hits on the season. Again, he is elicited into a pop-up. Once again to the right field side. This time it's the second baseman, Lucino, who ventured out to make the play right at the foul line. And there's 2 away. So Buddha is just throwing strikes, and Fort Lee right now is getting popped up underneath those pitches. 2 away with nobody on base for Emmanuel Perez, the left fielder. Perez hitting .250 on the season, has collected 1 hit, scored 1 run. Was 0 for 1 with a walk on Monday in the loss. Fort Lee in search of their first hit of the game so far. Again, they had that 2-out base runner in the first inning with the Katayama walk. He was thrown out trying to steal second. Buddha bounces that one in the dirt, so the lefty will get a new baseball. In the first inning, he had a couple of fly ball outs to center field. In the second inning, a fly ball to his right fielder as well as his second baseman out in shallow right field. Perez grounds that one down to third, handled by Bauer Schmidt. Throws over in time for the 5-3 putout, and Fort Lee is retired in order in that bottom of the second inning. Through 2 innings of play, Ridgefield Park leads Fort Lee by a score of 5-0. We'll be back for the top of the third inning as you're watching all the coverage of Fort Lee baseball here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Top of the third inning, Ridgefield Park leading 5-0. First ball swinging. That's a comebacker right to the pitcher. Rosario will handle his position right off of the mound and flip it underhand for the first out of the inning. After Shea Lucino was out now for the second plate appearance, he's 0 for 2 this afternoon on the 1-3 groundout. That'll bring up the right fielder, Victor Rodriguez. Rodriguez lined out to the glove of third baseman Brito back in his first plate appearance in the second inning. He's 0 for 1. Rosario missing high in that offering. 1-0 the count against Rodriguez. Rodriguez now ahead of the count 2-0. He was hitless in 3 plate appearances against Fort Lee on Monday. He scored a run. Rodriguez so far this season, the junior hitting 182 on the year, 2 hits, 3 RBIs overall. What Ridgefield Park has been doing has been hanging their hat on exceptional team pitching so far to begin this campaign. They're 2-2 on the year. Close, low-scoring affairs against Paramus Catholic and Pascack Hills started their season off 0-2. But since then, they've allowed only 1 run in their last 2 games and have outscored their opponents by a 22-1 scoring margin. A healthy cut there by Rodriguez. Team ERA so far for Ridgefield Park, 1.77. So even in those games where they gave up runs, they weren't above earned variety. Strong starting pitching has given them a leg up so far to begin this league play. That's going to be taken low for ball 4, and Rodriguez is going to be a 1-out base runner here in the top of the third inning. As that'll be the 4th walk already surrendered here in this game by Rosario. As we'll bring up now the left fielder, Brandon Porter-Real. Porter-Real drew a walk back in his first plate appearance in the second inning. Rosario's 1-0. Curveball missed high as well. It's now 2-0. Rosario did not walk a hitter in that first inning. Allowed only 1 hit, no runs. That one is lined into center field. That's going to be a base hit. Marcus Lee will range over, get it back into the infield quickly, and keep that only at runners at first and second, rather than allowing that lead runner to venture down to third base as well. But Porter-Real produces another hit in this game. 4th hit of the day for Ridgefield Park. And the Scarlets have runners at first and second, still with 1 out here, operating in the top of the third inning. As now it's going to be a strike in the outside corner for Zarzuela. Hector Zarzuela, the DH, had an RBI single back in the second inning. First and second again with 1 out here in the top of the third. As Rosario will step off and try to keep that lead runner close to the second base bag. Zarzuela drove in his first RBI of the season back in the second inning. It was a 2-out base hit as well. All that run production, the 5 runs coming with 2 outs in the inning. Good curveball there. Got Zarzuela looking. That'll be the 5th strikeout of the game for Rosario. Now there's 2 away with runners at first and second. 4 of Rosario's 5 strikeouts have been with the batters going down looking. Brings up again the top of the order, and Nick Buda, the catcher. 0 for 1 with a walk here today as Buda was the first strikeout victim of the game back in the first, or a walk in the second. Healthy cut again, but comes away empty. Bounce to the dirt. Gets away from the catcher, but not enough that Ridgefield Park can have their runners advance a base on the play. Senatore was keeping that one close, just comes right back to him off the backstop. Out backwards again. 2 strikes now against Buddha. Two outs in the inning with the wind swirling and dirt starting to pick up a little bit. As Rosario missing low. When he's missed, it's been low in the strike zone. Not really missing wide of the strike zone. Just hasn't had that command trying to get those breaking pitches and try to get some of those hitters to fish outside the zone. Again, that pitch missed low with the runner also going from second base. He can make his way slowly over to third now as the bases are loaded. Second walk of the inning, walk number 5 in the game now for Rosario. Bases are loaded with 2 outs and brings up Sammy Aguilar. Aguilar struck out looking back in the first and then drew a walk with the bases loaded his last time up in the second to bring home the second run of the game for Ridgefield Park. They would go on to tack on an additional 3 runs in that 5-run second inning. Aguilar now with 3 RBIs on the season. Again, he came into play today with a .273 batting average on the year. Rosario missing outside and high. Aguilar, one of those other exceptional pitchers for this Ridgefield Park staff. 1.75 ERA in 12 innings of work. He and Guzman, probably the top 2 pitchers for the Scarlets, as they send Mike Buddha to the mound here today. 2-0 the count against Aguilar. Bases loaded, nowhere to put him. 2 outs in the inning. It's the outside again, now 3-0. Only 1 hit so far in this inning for Ridgefield Park. The 3-0 missing high, and that's ball 4. And for the second time in this game, Sammy Aguilar will produce an RBI without taking the bat off his shoulders. Draws a walk with the bases loaded. It's now a 6-0 lead for Ridgefield Park. 6th walk of the game surrendered by Franco Rosario. 3 walks in the second, 3 more here in the third. Going to bring up Adam Conversano. Conversano is 2 for 2 in this game with a pair of RBIs as well. First ball swinging, and he fouls that into the top of the cage. 0-1 the count. Swung at that one. Might have even gotten a piece of it in the dirt. Still, Rosario ahead of the count here, 0-2. Trying to limit the damage to only 1 run so far in this inning. That one is deposited into the outfield. That's going to bring in 1. Well, Ridgefield Park will go station to station, play conservatively. They played home their second run of the inning. Adam Conversano is now 3 for 3 in this game with 3 RBIs as he continues to rake. And Ridgefield Park is now on top 7-0. That was a shallow hit to left field. Perez got it back in quickly for Fort Lee to prevent that from having 2 runs to score in the play. But Conversano had a infield single in his first plate appearance in the first half, the 2-run single in the second, and now driving in a run here. 3 for 3 start in the first 3 innings of play. Senatore came out to try to settle down his pitcher, trying to once again secure that third and final out of the inning. All the runs in this game for Ridgefield Park, the 7 runs have all come with 2 outs in the innings. As that's going to be a fly out to Marcus Lee in center field, and that will end the 3rd inning for Ridgefield Park. But the Scarlets push home 2 more runs. They take a 7-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 3rd here at the Sugarman Sports Complex in beautiful Fort Lee. Bottom of the 3rd inning as Fort Lee with some work to do, down by 7. Brandon Burrito will lead off this inning for the Bridgemen. Swings and misses through that last offering from Buddha. Burrito, a senior, has a double on the season. Getting the start at third base here this afternoon. Fort Lee again has not produced a hit so far in this game. That's a dribbler down to third base, handled by Bauernschmidt. Gets it over in time for the out, and there's one away. Last 2 outs are in ground balls down to the third base side. That brings up Max Greenberg, second baseman, hitting 8th in the lineup here today for Fort Lee. First plate appearance of the afternoon for Greenberg. Bounce low in the dirt against Greenberg. Max is sophomore, hitting .333 on the season. 2 hits, 1 run driven in, 1 run scored. Was 1 for 2 against Ridgefield Park on Monday. Fouled off a piece of that one. Thrown low again. Two and one the count for Greenberg. Two and two now. Get only one base runner so far in this game for Fort Lee. That was Keizo Kanayama, who drew a 2-out walk back in the first inning, but then was thrown out trying to steal second. So Mike Buddha so far has only had to face the minimum. Still 2-2 the count against Greenberg. Greenberg was trying to lean out to the outside and was trying to stay alive, but could not hold his swing there. Goes down with the strikeout. That's the first strikeout of the game for Mike Buddha. And there's two away with no one on base here in the bottom of the third. Buddha's retired 5 straight Fort Lee batters in a row since giving up that 2-out walk to Katayama. Taking on Marcus Lee, the 9th place hitter, the center fielder, took that pitch for a strike 0-1. Lee, 333 on the season, 2 hits, 1 RBI, 1 run scored. Stolen base threat if he could get on with his speed. He has 2 swiped bags already this season for the Bridgeman. Curveball missing high. That pitch again outside the zone. 3-1 the count against Marcus Lee. Franco Rosario waiting on deck. He's the top of the order for the Bridgeman. Swinging and missing through that offering was Lee, and now the count runs full at 3-2. Three-two pitch, catches the outside corner, strike 3 looking. Marcus Lee goes down. That is back-to-back strikeouts for Buddha as he gets through his 3rd scoreless inning of work. Through 3 innings, it's a 7-0 lead for Ridgefield Park as we head to the top of the 4th here at the Sugarman Sports Complex. Top of the 4th inning, 7-0 lead for Ridgefield Park. Sean Guzman, the center fielder, will lead things off. Guzman had 2 plate appearances back in the second inning, led off the inning, reaching on an error by the Fort Lee first baseman. Then went down looking for the strikeout that eventually ended the inning after being the 10th batter of the inning. Ridgefield Park would score 5 runs in that second inning. They scored 3 more in the last inning as well. Weakly grounded. They're going to say that's a foul ball after Rosario was trying to throw over to first, and might have been to his benefit as well because that throw got away from his first baseman. Would have been an error. As I mentioned in the last inning, Ridgefield Park with all 7 of their runs in this game coming when there were 2 outs in the inning. Guzman trying to go the opposite way with it, now 2 strikes against him. And Ridgefield Park's offense has kicked into another gear. The 7 runs here today, they now have scored 29 runs in their last 3 games. Guzman fouls it to the right side. Still 2 strikes against him. This again coming after they were held to 3 total runs in their first 2 games. Last season, the Scarlets defeated McNair and Parsippany in the state playoffs. A very good season that saw them finish 15-14 overall and advancing to the North 2 Group 2 semifinals before eventually losing to Caldwell. League champs a season ago in the Big North American and trying to start off 2-0 in league play against Fort Lee. Guzman will ground it down to Katayama at short. Will throw over, and it pops out of the glove of Ratzker. Could not field that cleanly, as that's going to be another error against the Fort Lee defense so far in this game. Second time that Guzman has reached, courtesy of an error. Third error of the game against the Bridgemen. So Guzman is on, brings up Shea Lucino. Lucino, the second baseman, is 0 for 2 this afternoon. Struck out swinging in the second and grounded back to the pitcher Rosario in the third. Seven 0 lead, batting here with a runner on, nobody out on the top of the 4th inning. Lucino late that time. Runner is going as that's fouled back. 2 strikes now against Lucino. In a hit and run situation with Guzman trying to get a jump start off the first base bag. He already has a stolen base in this game as well. Lucino will get his first base hit of the game. Drops that into shallow right field on the base knock. First 2 runners are on base here safely to begin the top of the 4th inning after Shea Lucino has that base hit. Hit number 6 as a team for Ridgefield Park. Brings up Victor Rodriguez, the right fielder. Rodriguez 0 for 1, lined out to third base in the second inning. Drew a walk his last time up in the third. Breaking pitch for a strike. 0-1 against Rodriguez. Katayama trying to keep That runner close to the second base bag, slapping at his mitt. As that pitch missed, 1-1. Now against Rodriguez. That's a hot shot. That gets by the third baseman and into left field. Sliding to make the play. Perez trying to get it back in. Missed on the relay throw, and that's going to allow Guzman to score on the base hit. An RBI single on the play by Victor Rodriguez. And that'll bring home the 8th run of the game for Ridgefield Park. Still with nobody out here in the top of the 4th inning and runners at first and second. It's good play by Perez in left field for Fort Lee to quickly get it back in. There is no chance of throwing out Guzman, who has that speed and scored easily from second base. As that's fouled into the cage by Branton Porterreal. Porterreal is 1 for 1 with a walk here today. Drew that walk in the second inning, had a single his last time up in the third. Curveball missed outside. 1-1. No extra base hits so far in this game for Ridgefield Park. All singles. Bounce to the dirt. Senatori doing a good job of blocking that plate and blocking the ball. Inning started off with the error on what should have been the first out of the inning on a ground ball. Then back-to-back singles. Runner is going from second, trying to steal third. The throw down to third in time. Good throw that time. Catching Shea Lucino, trying to get a little greedy. There's the first out of the inning. Trail runner got in safely down to second base, so there's one out. Runner down at second. Still an 8-0 lead for Ridgefield Park. Lucino caught stealing. That one's chopped down, foul, outside of third base. So head coach Scott Papetti's Ridgefield Park side getting a little aggressive there. Trying to steal third base with an 8-run lead. And a swing and a miss by Porterreal. He goes down on strikes. That'll be the 6th strikeout of the game for Rosario Fort Lee. And now there's 2 away with a runner down at second base still. 1 run home here in the inning. That'll bring up Hector Zarzuela. 1 for 2 this afternoon with an RBI single back in the second. Zarzuela, first ball swinging, will send that into the outfield. Trying to make a diving play was Perez. Couldn't get to it. That'll score the runner from second base. An RBI double by Hector Zarzuela. His second run driven in and second hit of the ball game. And now the lead is 9-0 here for Ridgefield Park. First extra base hit of the game for the Scarlets. 8 total hits in this contest now for the visitors. Back to the top of the order, we go to Nick Buda, the catcher. Buda is 0 for 1 with a pair of walks in this game. Struck out looking in the first, drew a walk in the second, and then next time in the third. It'll be a strike to start off this at-bat against Buda. That one is chopped. It's going to be a big, tough play for Katayama from short. Throw over to first, and that's going to be in time. Nice play there by Keizo Katayama. That was a high chopper off of the turf. Had to range up high to collect it and then fire over in time, and does just get it over in time to defeat that infield hit attempt by Nick Buddha. That'll end the inning with 2 more runs crossing home plate for Ridgefield Park. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. 9-0 lead for the visitors here in our first spring baseball broadcast of the season. Bottom of the 4th inning now. Fort Lee trailing 9-0. Still in search of their first hit of the afternoon. They'll get back to the top of the order. Rosario leading things off here. Flew out of the first pitch he saw back in the first to center field. Buddha fires that one in for a strike to get ahead of the count 0-1. Swing and a miss by Rosario. He was expecting fastball, got off speed instead. He's in an 0-2 count. Buddha's 0-2. Grounds it down to short. Aguilar will get it over. Pulls the first baseman off the bag, but he still maintains some balance. And just a sliver of a toe tap on the bag to complete a 6-3 groundout. Nice play there by Conversano. Looked like that would be a potential error against the shortstop, but he saved Aguilar of that error. And Rosario was retired for the first out of the 4th inning. Brings up Luke Senatori. 0 for 1 this afternoon. Flew out to center field as well back in his first plate appearance in the 1st inning. Bounce in the dirt, 1-0. Buddha has given up 1 walk in this game, no hits, 2 strikeouts. He's been pitching to contact and pitching to his defense. It's been a good formula for success for him and for the visitors here this afternoon. That has popped up. Ranging in, calling for it, Guzman in center field. That'll be the second out of the inning. 2 outs with nobody on base here in the 4th inning. Brings up Keizo Katayama. He has been the only base runner so far in this game for the Bridgemen. Katayama drew a walk back in the 1st inning, but then was retired trying to steal second base. Katayama hitting from the right side. Geizo getting the start at shortstop here today. Was 1 for 3 hitting on Monday. Two 2-0 the count in favor of Katayama. Curveball also missing. Now 3-0. Katayama is showing off his talents in the past couple of seasons as a pitcher as well. Also has seen time behind the dish as the starting catcher. Taking all the way on 3-0, takes that for a strike, making it a 3-1 count. That is hit deep to left field, but still ranging in and coming in to make the play is Porter Royale. So another 1-2-3 inning for Mike Buddha in Ridgefield Park. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. We head to the top of the 5th inning. Ridgefield Park leading Fort Lee by a score of 9-0. Sammy Aguilar will lead things off here in the top of the 5th inning for Ridgefield Park. On top 9-0. Defeated Fort Lee at home on Monday 11-0 in 5 innings. Aguilar laying off that pitch to the outside. 2-0 the count. Aguilar struck out looking in the first, drew a pair of walks with the bases loaded each time. He's got 2 RBIs in this game now. One of the rare times that he does not have the bases loaded in front of him. Once again, Rosario in danger of walking Aguilar. And he will do just that on 4 pitches. Leadoff runner is on to begin the top of the 5th inning. Looks like a new pitcher is in this game right now for Fort Lee, by the way, fans. So my apologies. That was not Franco Rosario. It's Brandon Brito to start off this 5th inning. So he walks the first hitter that he faces in Aguilar. Aguilar with 3 walks in this game. Bringing up Adam Conversano. Runner is off, throw down to second base, and that is in time. Second time in this game that Ridgefield Park has had a runner thrown out trying to steal a bag. Senatori with his second caught stealing. And that leadoff base runner is retired to begin the top of the 5th inning. Adam Conversano is having himself quite an afternoon. 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Drives that one high and into the top of the cage in the backstop. Conversano lays off that pitch. Dorcom is now playing down at third base for Burrito, who started there. Conversano will also draw a walk, so he'll take his base. Burrito has thrown 2 walks to begin this relief outing. 8th walk of the game now for Fort Lee pitching. Brings up Mike Buda, the pitcher. Buda fouled out to third base back in the first inning, reached out an error in the second, and flew out to center field his last time up in the third. Buda trying to slash that one. Opposite field down the third base line, but does so foul. Nine runs on 8 hits. Ridgefield Park has also benefited from 8 walks in this game and at least 3 Fort Lee errors. Two and one the count now against Buda. That pitch sails high, and it's now 3-1. Burrito trying to find some accuracy since coming into this game, and hit the outside corner. And actually, my apologies, it was 2-2 count, so that led to the called third strike. 2 outs here in the inning with a runner still down at first base. So Burrito delivers that good pitch there, gets his first strikeout of the game, strikeout number 7 for Fort Lee pitching. Throw down to second base, not in time, it gets into center field. Now the throw is going to be made down to third base, off the mark, and that allows the base runner to steal second and head down to third base as well. There was a hard collision between Conversano and Katayama, who was trying to cover the second base bag. He gives the thumbs up as Tom Hurd, the athletic trainer for Fort Lee, will come out onto the field to check on the health of the Fort Lee shortstop, who's still laboring in pain a little bit. Might have had his knee colliding with the knee of the base runner, Conversano. Throw was off the line as Katayama was trying to swipe and administer that tag on the would-be base stealer at second base. Throw got by him into center field. Conversano would then take the extra bag. After that relay throw from Marcus Lee, the center fielder was also offline trying to get it down to third base. And now Ridgefield Park has a runner at third with 2 outs here in the inning. So Katayama is okay. Good to see that. One of the star players of Fort Lee, Keizo Katayama. Runner at third with 2 outs in the inning now for Sean Guzman. Guzman, who's got it on base twice in this game, courtesy of errors. Conversano is standing down at third. Guzman takes that in for a strike. Three RBIs on the season for Guzman. Probably should, by all rights, be 0 for 3 in this game. But again, a couple of errors in the infield have allowed him to get on base, and when he's gotten on base, he's been able to come around and score as well. Brito missing to the outside. That is the third walk given up in this inning by Brito, who again started off the game as the starting third baseman. Brandon Brito came in to begin this top of the fifth inning. Now runners at the corners with still 2 outs. Jay Lucino. Lucino 1 for 3 this afternoon. Curveball. Hits the inside corner for a strike, 0-1. Lucino got his first hit of the game in his last plate appearance in the fourth inning. Struck out swinging in the second, grounded back to the pitcher in the third. Lucino will once again ground it back to the pitcher. Throw over to first in time, and that will produce a scoreless top of the fifth inning for Ridgefield Park. They had a couple of base runners on courtesy of walks, but Brandon Brito got bailed out by his catcher. Senatori threw out a would-be base stealer in Sammy Aguilar to begin the inning, then was able to get out of trouble with that comebacker right back to him. So we head to the bottom of the fifth inning. It remains a 9-0 lead for Ridgefield Park. Nine 0 lead for Ridgefield Park. Only the second scoreless inning for the Scarlets in this game, scoring no runs in that top of the fifth inning. As Buddha bounces that one to the outside before he contends with the likes of Kyle Ratzker. Grounded weakly down to third base and thrown over in time to record the out. One away to begin the bottom of the fifth inning. And correction, that was number 9, Gabriel Garcia, who was hitting at that point for Ratzker in the lineup. So Garcia, first ball swinging, grounded that one down to third for the 5-3 putout. Fouled off to the right side that time by Jack Dorcom. Dorcom began the game as the DH for Fort Lee, now has come into play third base. Hot shot. That'll get by the glove of the shortstop who was trying to backhand it, and that is the first base hit of the afternoon for Fort Lee. So no hit, no more. Jack Dorcom delivers the hit, his fourth hit of the season. He went 0 for 2 against Ridgefield Park on Monday, and now delivers the first hit of the afternoon for the Bridgemen. First base runner since Keiso Katayama got on with 2 outs in the first inning. Runner on first with 1 out here. Brings up number 2, Emmanuel Perez. Perez is 0 for 1 this afternoon, grounded out to third base in his lone plate appearance back in the second inning. Beautiful, comfortable afternoon here in April. Feels more like June or July. As that's driven foul down the left field line. 82 degrees, and it's just going to get warmer the later we go on in this week. It's been just great weather, certainly for all the spring sports and high school sports here in the Garden State. That one is deflected off of the glove of Buddha. Heads down to second base still to retire that lead runner. If he had handled it cleanly, might have had an opportunity at maybe a double play. But still, Buddha doing a good job of having that one deflect off his glove. Settled it down, threw down to second base to retire Dorcom. Now there's two away with a runner down at first after the fielder's choice by Perez. Fouled off. On a play down the first base line. Brito doing the hitting right now. 0 for 1 with a ground out down to third base. Back in the third inning as well. 0-1 against Brito. Miss Lowe, runner is off and running, and now it's going to be a stolen base for Fort Lee. Perez swipes the bag for the Bridgeman. His second stolen base of the season. Fort Lee with their first real runner in scoring position, too. That's a ground ball. That's going to get by the third baseman. Good job by the shortstop of making that play deep in the hole as Aguilar saved a run from potentially scoring. Perez was taking a wide turn around third, but then was told to get back quickly because he was not going to be able to score if there was a play at the plate. Second hit of the inning now for Fort Lee as Brito is on. Runners at the corners with two away here in the bottom of the fifth inning. That'll bring up Max Greenberg. Greenberg went down swinging his first time up as Buddha bounces that one in the dirt. Buddha trying to get through 5 innings of scoreless work here against Fort Lee. Bridgman threatening for their best offensive opportunity of the afternoon. Swing and miss by Greenberg on the outside corner. 1-1 the count now against Max. Marcus Lee, the center fielder, 9th place hitter in the Fort Lee lineup, waiting on deck. Swing and miss again by Greenberg. Was out in front of that one. That's how Buddha was able to retire him the first time around. 2 strikes now against Greenberg with runners at the corners, 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 9-0 lead for Ridgefield Park. Greenberg will ground that one down to second base, handled on a hop by Lucino. Over in time to Conversano to get his pitcher out of trouble. Fort Lee strands 2 on base. They produced 2 hits in the inning, and it remains a 9-run lead for Ridgefield Park as we head to the top of the 6th here as you're watching all the action in the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. To the sixth inning we go. If Ridgefield Park were to play home at least one more run, then they would possibly put themselves in a position for a mercy rule in effect. The 10-run mercy rule after 5 innings would end this game, just as it did in their last game against Fort Lee. First ball swinging, ground ball down to short, 1 pitch, 1 out. To begin the top of the 6th inning. As Katayama with the shorthand move there, the 6-3 ground out by Victor Rodriguez. Taken high for a ball that time by Porter Real, the left fielder. Drew a walk in the second, had a single in the third, struck out swinging his last time up in the fourth. Ground ball down to second base. Greenberg will handle that one. And 2 quick outs procured by Brandon Brito. 6-3 and now 4-3, and there's 2 away with no one on base in the top of the 6th inning. That'll once again bring up the 9th place hitter, the DH, Hector Zarzuela. Zarzuela, who has the lone extra base hit in this game, had the double. Zarzuela taking first base. I'm assuming, I didn't see it from our vantage point, we are in the press box deep in center field, that he got hit by the pitch that time. So Zarzuela is on as a 2-out base runner. First hit batter of this game. Brings us back to the top of the Ridgefield Park lineup and Nick Buda. Buda is 0 for 2 with a pair of walks in this game. Grounded out to short his last time up in the fourth. That pitch taken high. That one is flied out. Trying to range over, but unable to make the play. That's going to drop in front of the right fielder, rounding third and coming home to score the 10th run of the game for Ridgefield Park on a 2-out double, an RBI double by Nick Buda. It is now a 10-0 lead for Ridgefield Park, and the Scarlets have scored all 10 of their runs with 2 outs against them. That time it looked like the new right fielder was trying to range in for Fort Lee, but unable to make that play. Looks like the new outfielder is senior Sadiji Traore, number 5. Just didn't have enough speed there and of an angle to try to make that play after that one split in between him and the center fielder, Marcus Lee. Sammy Aguilar is at home plate now in this at-bat. 1-1 the count against him. Aguilar looking for his first base hit of the day as well. And he'll get it. Grounds it straight up the middle to center field, rounding third. The throw is going to be offline. That's going to plate home another run here in the inning. 2 more runs with 2 outs, and that's going to be an RBI double for Sammy Aguilar. His 3rd RBI of the day. And Ridgefield Park has stretched their lead now to 11. Back-to-back doubles now for the Scarlets. They're up to 10 hits in this game. 11 runs on 10 hits. Adam Conversano still 3 for 3 in this game with a walk in his last appearance. Pitch missing low as Brito tries to finish off this inning. Picked up 2 quick outs, ground ball outs, to begin this inning. But then he hit a batter and has surrendered back-to-back RBI doubles. That pitch missed inside against Conversano. 3-1 the count in his favor. 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a walk in this game for Conversano. Breaking pitch missing low to the outside, and Conversano is on for the 5th consecutive time in this game. 3 hits and 2 walks now for the first baseman for Ridgefield Park. First walk surrendered in this inning. 10 walks given up in this game now for Fort Lee pitching. Fourth walk for Brandon Brito since coming into this game as a relief pitcher. Trying to take down Mike Buda now. Buda grounds that run right back to Brito. He'll toss it over to first in time for the third and final out of the inning. But Ridgefield Park produces a pair of runs on a pair of RBI doubles and have taken an 11-run lead into the top of the 6th inning. If they continue at this rate, this game will be a mercy rule in effect. If they continue to lead by at least 10 runs after this 6th inning comes to a close. Ridgefield Park won the other day 11-0 against Fort Lee at home in 5 innings. They now lead the Bridgmen 11-0 here on the road against Fort Lee as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis, and Renee Matisich glad that he could join us on our debut coverage of the 2023 Fort Lee spring baseball season. Marcus Lee, the 9th place hitter in the Bridgman lineup, will lead things off in the bottom of the 6th. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout back in the 3rd inning. And missing on the outside. That pitch missed low as there's a new pitcher in this game now for Ridgefield Park in Derek Bauernschmidt. Bauernschmidt, who started the game as the 3rd baseman, the senior has pitched 1 2/3 innings of work this season, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk. And Lee will lead things off here in the bottom of the 6th with a leadoff walk. So Bauernschmidt not able to find his pinpoint accuracy to start off things here out of the pen. Second walk of the game for Ridgefield Park pitching. As now it's a pickoff attempt trying to keep Lee close to the bag. Marcus Lee does have 2 stolen bases this season for Fort Lee. Back to the top of the order. And there goes Lee. He will easily swipe second base without a throw and get down to second in scoring position. Traore is the hitter right now, his first plate appearance since coming into this game. Batting in the cleanup spot. And he will go down for the first out of the inning. So a strikeout now for Bauernschmidt. And there's one away. Only the 3rd strikeout of this game for Ridgefield Park pitching. Buddha, who'd be in line for the win, just pitched to contact and got a lot of weak grounders and simple, lazy pop-ups in the outfield for his side. As that's going to be a strike in the outside corner. Another swing and a miss. David Herr, number 26, getting this pinch hit opportunity. And Herr took it on the outside corner for strike 3 called. 3 pitches and now back-to-back strikeouts. And Fort Lee is down to their final out of the game. Runner at second with 2 away here, 11-0 lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. Ray Nakajima will get a pinch hit opportunity here, the junior, stepping in and hitting for Katayama. As Nakajima was tardy on that swing. So Ridgefield Park trying to produce back-to-back 11-0 victories against Fort Lee. As that's fouled in the cage, and now Fort Lee down to their final strike. Bridgman have scored only more than 3 runs in 1 game this year. That was a 15-7 loss against Bergenfield here at home. Again, fouled into the cage. We'll do it all over again. Following this game, Fort Lee is going to hit the road on Friday afternoon to take on Ramsey before coming back home to host Ridgefield on April 17th. Our next baseball broadcast will come on April 25th when the Bridgmen host league rival Dumont for 4 o'clock start time that day on the 25th. Ground ball down to the first baseman. That's going to be taken to the bag, and that will end the ball game. On that ground ball out, that will end this game in 6 innings. Ridgefield Park will once again defeat Fort Lee by a final score of 11-0. With the victory, Ridgefield Park will improve to 3-2 on the season and 2-0 in the Big North American Division, while Fort Lee will fall to 0-4 on the season and 0-2 in league play. Ridgefield Park will next be in action against Riverdale on April 14th. And again, as I just mentioned, Fort Lee will travel to Ramsey their next time out on April 14th. We invite you to join us for our next broadcast coverage of Fort Lee baseball. That again will be on April 25th as Fort Lee will play host to Dumont, a game that you can watch live and on demand here for free on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Our next broadcast overall will be Fort Lee girls softball game. That'll be on Monday, the 17th, as Fort Lee will play host to the visiting Hackensack Comets. So for Renee Matisich and Dimitri Nanis, I'm Dan Long saying so long and thanks for watching Fort Lee Baseball here on YouTube. Take care, everybody.